Hello, class. I think this will be the last video for this assignment. Just a few finishing things we're going to do with that cropping that I said we get back to, and then one other trick that we'll look at to sort of bring this all together. So the crop tool, if you don't see it in your list, just again, come to the bottom one, click and hold down on that arrow, and you should have it in there. If not, go to the edit toolbars. I say if you don't see crop, go to edit toolbars and drag the crop tool. It's going to look like this into the tool set you can use. And for starters, I said I was going to go ahead and crop out the path. I have to go at least up to this line, but I can go higher if I want. I can cut off that gentleman's feet. I probably want some of that shadow. So, something interesting. I think I'll just end up going something like this. I could crop down if I wanted to crop down, if I thought that was useful. Longer horizontal drawings is very typical. It's not a bad thing to do. It's our eyes like it better. Yours doesn't have to be, but it's a little trick that you might use. I do want a little bit more of that, so we'll see. So I might, and again, if I'm cropping off trees, perfectly fine. There's no issues cropping off those things. Just as a quick point out, you see these light gray lines in the crop, those will go away. That's called the rules of three. We're going to talk about that when we talk about composition. But for now, just crop it to whatever you think likes, if you need cropping at all. And I'm just going to say, well, there we go. That's my crop. I think that'll look good for my final composition for this assignment. And then the last thing I just want to do is it's got a pretty decent image here, considering that this house is completely constructed in Photoshop, which is pretty impressive. Um, but one of the things I find if we're doing a lot of what I call collaging, which is cut and paste from other images, a lot of time the images they start to feel that way. They don't quite feel unified. And a little trick that's pretty easy that can help that unification, I just want to show you now, and that's going to be under Images, Adjustments, and Photo Filter. But we have to do a couple things to make this work, so pay attention to the steps. It's not hard, it won't take us long, but the steps are important, and I think it will add to the drawing. So photo filters can only work on a layer. So I want to collapse everything I have here onto one layer. Now the thing is, I don't want to leave it that way because I might want to go back and edit any of this at any time. So this is going to take a few steps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to say flatten image, and you can see it's made it all onto one layer over here. So I'm going to do Control A to select all and Control C to copy. And I'm going to go to File New and say, okay, when it comes up, it's going to know it's going to create that same size. I'm going to go Control V. That's going to have one layer of my entire image. Now, what I want to do over here on my original drawings is I'm going to do undo or Control Z, edit undo until enough times until I get all my layers back. Okay, so now I've got all my layers back. And what I'm going to now do is I'm going to jump back to that image I just saved where it's one layer. I'm going to do Control A, to select it, Control C to copy it. The reason why I have to recopy it because our undo we just did made us forget, it made Photoshop forget that copy. So I have to recopy it again. That's why I put it in a separate file. I'm going to come back to my original file. I'm going to paste it right on top. Make sure it's the top layer. If it didn't paste on top, just drag and drop the layer right on top. Now I have got a copy of my drawing right on top that I can add this final touch to. But if I need to edit anything, I can always redo this step later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Photo Filter. Let's see, Photo Filters right there. And you can go warming, you can go cooling, you can select your own colors. In this case, it's summer, so I want to go warming. And just for demonstration purposes really quick, I'm just going to turn mine up way too high so you can see what it does. It sort of adds a whole orange tone over the whole drawing. But I think also what it does, because it's toning everything sort of similarly, it starts to unify it a little more than if I didn't do it. So it can be subtle, something like this. And if I just turn my check on and off, you can see the subtlety that it is going, that's being used there. But I think it's just a little detail that can help. And the other thing is, for this assignment, this is where I'm going to end it for you. But that trick of copying the layer to the top layer really can do a lot of other things for you as we learn more advanced tools in filters. You can do other things. For this assignment, we're trying to make it photoreal, so some of these things don't matter. Maybe something like a lens flare also needs to be done on a unified layer like this that it can be used for any trick like this. But a lot of sort of filters that we might use for finalizing a drawing or making it a bit stylistic or doing all these things requires that one layer trick where you want to go perhaps and keep all your layers but do it all as one. So it's a good sort of lesson on how to do that. Don't be afraid to use it as many times as you need. And of course, if you always think you made things too strong, just go ahead and reduce the transparency a little bit and you have your final drawing. Now, so that's where I'm going to end this video. Again, if you want to experiment with Photoshop, go ahead and do that. There's nothing like just trying things on your own to figure out Photoshop or any software. You know, the more you try, the more you play, the better you will be, the better your drawing might be. You know, right now, if you've only done exactly what I've done, then you haven't pushed yourself. It's going to look like mine, but I certainly could do any number of things to make this look better. So don't be afraid of just playing with the software and figuring things out on your own. I think the basis of these lessons are good to get you into Photoshop and how architects use it, and so some tricks that I've learned over time. But again, experiment and play. That's how you learn it. So see where else you can take this drawing. And thanks for watching and good luck.